Alright, now that your footage is all organized, it's time to start editing. But before we start compiling the video, we want to know which clips are worthy of the final edit. In other words, just because you shot 8 hours of footage does not mean your video will be 8 hours long. So now we're going to find the best footage from the footage we shot. If this step is done properly, the compiling part of the process will go a lot faster. So today we're going to be working on the wedding of Brittany and Mike Pendergraft. This is actually my sister, and she got married last month. So we're going to sift through the footage and find out which of the footage will make it into the final cut. Now, I didn't shoot this wedding, my assistant Nate did, and I'm editing it, so you'll see me in the video. But I trust Nate, I love Nate, and I love how he shoots, and so we should have some great footage to work with. So before we drag the footage into the timeline, here's what we're dealing with. We have a lot of folders here. This is our audio files from the ceremony. This is some of the drone footage. This isn't my footage. This is actually a friend of theirs who captured drone footage and gave it to me. It's honestly pretty crappy footage, so I'm not even going to use it. This is the main camera that Nate was on, the GlideCam cam. It was versatile going throughout the ceremony. As you can see, all shot at 60 frames per second. And then we had two ceremony cameras, 1DXs with 70-200 lenses pointed at the couple on both sides. And then we had a fourth camera, which had some really pretty B-roll, but we probably won't use it because that footage is in 1080p while the rest is in 4K. So first things first, we want to start a sequence, and again, I will not be going over how to edit in depth. Parker's already created a mini course about that using Premiere Pro. If you want to check it out, we have a link to join for a discount. But as you know, whatever clip you drag into the timeline first is what your timeline will be. So we want this to be a 4K sequence at 24 frames per second. I'm going to grab the ceremony cam first, drag it in there, drag the rest of the footage in there as well. So now our timeline is in 4K at 24 frames per second. And then I'm going to go and grab the rest of the footage, select all of it, right click, hit modify, interpret footage, and we want it to be at 23.976 and hit OK. So that automatically slows down all the footage. And because I don't want to listen to all the slow motion audio, you can delete the audio files, but I just have to drag the ones that I will use onto the second layer and then mute the first layer so I don't have to hear it. Okay, so now as you can see, we have all of our footage in the timeline. We have about 4.5 hours of footage to go through. So I'm gonna start going through the footage. We won't go through all of it together, it'll take forever, but I'm gonna kind of start off and show you what I look for when I'm sifting through footage, what will make it into the final edit and what won't and why. In the next video, we'll talk about compiling the video and using the vows and so forth. We'll skip the huge cams for now and just stick with the B-roll cam because a lot of the principles I will apply to the rest. For the video, I only need about 4 seconds of usable footage per shot. And I know at the very beginning of each clip, it's a little shaky as I'm getting my balance, and then I start to push in. So I kind of scrub through here. So see how the camera kind of wobbles and then right there it becomes smooth? We're gonna start right there, cut, hit that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I love this shot. If I want to use more of it, I might just keep more of it and drag it up onto the second layer. It's a similar shot, kind of like the first one better. This is a pull out, not my favorite. Got a detail shot of some flowers here. It's pretty. I like to grab all the details I can just because you never know when it might fit in the video. Again, 4 seconds. Love that lens flare. I'm gonna keep that whole thing so I don't know which part I want to use yet. Okay, then he got some foreground, which I love. With that lens flare, that's beautiful. So I'm gonna just take this whole clip. It's a beautiful donut wall reveal. I like this shot, but there's someone hiding behind there, so I'm not gonna use it. But it's a really pretty detail, lots of depth. Remember I was talking about depth? You have the plates in the front, things in the background, so this detail is elevated and looks beautiful. And a lot of these shots I am doing just in case. Maybe I won't use half of these food shots, but you never know when it might fit in the video. I think that's the best champagne shot so far. Pendergraft is just their name, their last name, but it's going to be in the video title anyway, so I don't feel a need to put a shot of their name in there when there's nothing really pretty to look at. That's a good shot of this guy's butt, isn't it? Beautiful. I love lens flares. So we're showing off this wreath. Boom. That was beautiful. Definitely going in the video. I think details like this, the high-end gold look, really elevates a wedding video, really shows off how classy the wedding was, and thus makes the video classy. Okay, and this is Brittany putting on the dress. I had no time to adjust my settings. I'm not sure what my mom is doing there. Okay, so she's just kind of putting it on. It wasn't a very attractive shot. It's kind of fun to do abstract things like this though, and let the viewer kind of guess what's happening to show off the mystery of the bride, because no one technically sees her until the wedding day, until she's walking down the aisle anyway. So these abstract shots really do play a big part. Got that earring. I love how Nate is shooting through the trees. Makes it beautiful. Okay, so this is where the ceremony starts. This is where the magic happens. So this is the officiant and his wife, my mom and dad. So very important people. The bride's dad. You can see it's a little out of focus, obviously, and he's in focus. And so it comes in about right there. Unfortunately, it cuts him off. So what I might do, take that part too. And things like that happen, you know, sometimes you miss it. Here's the groom walking around the bend. Looks like the autofocus is having some problems right there. But it's okay, looks really good. Look how happy he is. So I'll use it until the shot isn't usable, which is about right there. Because after this, his head kind of crops and there's no point. Okay. Got the ring bearer, my little brother. So again, right when his top of his head leaves. And again, that's way more than 5 seconds. That is a 20-second shot, but I'm not sure which part I like the best right now. So I'm just kind of taking the whole scene. One of the flower girls, my little sister. About right there. It's my sister as well. This is my smoking hot wife. Another flower girl. Okay, in this part, myself and my little brother walk Brittany, the bride, down the aisle. And I like kind of that shot of her glancing over at me, kind of through the trees. I think that's really pretty. And again, I love what Nate did with his creativity. A lot of people would have went to the side. I love shooting through things to show depth. And so again, I'll take this scene as much as I want. Kind of jerks the camera right here, as you can see. But this is pretty to me. And the camera jerks, so I'll cut it there, find out which part I like best in that later. So Nate's kind of getting in position there, and then it comes to, guests are in the way, continue to walk. Okay, and here's a very special part. She wanted a kiss from each of her brothers. Because I was a part of it, I knew what was happening, but as the videographer, you should be communicating with the bride and saying, okay, is there anything during this ceremony that you want captured? And in this case, she wanted both of her brothers to kiss her on the cheek before she walked down the aisle. And so I specifically told Nate, make sure you're in a spot to capture this because this is a very important part for her. But if it was me and I didn't ask that, I would have been running down to the other end of the aisle to get ready for her walking, and I would have missed this completely. But because we communicated, we didn't miss it. She says, I love you. We'll just cut that out. And then she turns completely lost focus right there. Might speed that up, make it normal speed, so it doesn't look as out of focus. Little bad framing there, Nate, right during here, but beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And it stops right there. This is a good shot. When you're editing and sifting, you're looking for emotion. You're looking for love. That's all boring, but I've seen people who would put stuff like this in the video, just shifting around, getting ready. But I look for moments like this one where they exchange a glance, right? Where she's looking up at him with a smile. Brittany, since I'm a videographer, she wanted me to say, what are some things that happen in weddings that don't need to happen? And I was like, well, there's no reason for the officiant to be right behind you guys. Have him step to the side and let the focus be on you two. And so the officiant was on the side while they were just in the middle. And you'll see with the ceremony cameras, it ended up turning out beautifully because there's no one in the way. It was just them. Okay, that's a really good shot of them kind of holding hands right there. I love that. Use that. This was all shot on the 1DX with the Sigma 40mm, which is said to be the sharpest lens out there for DSLRs. Okay, so this is the ring. I have better shots. That's a really good shot though. Mike put on her ring. Almost missed it. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna crop this in so it's more on them. But beautiful angle, and I love the smile. Boom. And then this is a request. She wanted a picture of her with all the guests cheering while they kiss. So this is a really fun shot. Look at him. One more angle. Getting their getaway. Beautiful scenery here. And they exit and kiss. There's always one. There's always someone who just doesn't get it. And he ruins it. Every time. Gets the door for her. Love that. I'll stop her right there while she gets her dress all situated. And this shot is great. They drive away, but the bummer is that this lady ruined the prettiest shot. So we'll do the best we can. I'll crop it out right there. Then they do some pictures, which we don't need to include. I don't like putting pictures or shots that are meant for pictures in the video. I just think it's kind of weird. The thing with this wedding is we didn't get any shots of just them. Unfortunately, we didn't have a whole lot of time. Okay, so there we go. So what I'll do now is I'll drag all the footage that I'm not planning on using over to the side, just in case I need it for later. So I'll drag it over there, and then I'll ripple delete all these empty spaces, which I set my keyboard shortcut to F. So there we have all the footage that I want to use in the video. It's about 14 minutes. We've narrowed it down to, and then we have still the whole ceremony, which I'm gonna go through without you guys and pick out the best sound bites. Okay, so an easy way to sync all these angles and audio files together is by selecting all of them and then hit right click and then create a multi-camera source sequence. And I'm gonna do by audio and call it ceremony. And then we will hit okay. But it's just syncing up all the files individually. So once it has sunk up, here you have it. So you should right click it and then I hit open in timeline. And now it has sunk up perfectly all of my footage and audio with each clip. And what I'm going to do now is remove all the dead space because I don't want any of this audio in there. I just want this. So boom, and there you go. So I'm gonna go through this and select my favorite parts of the ceremony, the best audio bites, the best reactions, and so forth, and that will complete the sifting process. And I'll put it into this timeline when I'm done. And after we sift, we'll grab the song and start compiling the video. But that's it for sifting, guys. I hope that gave you a better idea of how I sift through my footage, find the best. Essentially, I'm just looking for emotion. I'm looking for shots that portray the love that they have. I'm looking for shots that elevate the wedding video. And as you can see, I've narrowed it down to about 14 minutes of usable footage of just B-roll. So if you do a great job at sifting, it makes the compiling a whole lot easier. But that's it for today. If you guys have any further questions, please let me know.